Hello, beautiful souls. This is Michelle with Upgrade in Progress. Thanks for stopping by. My voice sounds a little gravelly, and I'm just kind of coming out of a session. And so this is a download that I wanted to share, and it continues to have to do with saving souls. As funny as that sounds, I used to joke, that's what maybe my mission was, and I realized maybe when I burned out that I couldn't save anybody. So these are just breadcrumbs. They're my breadcrumbs. So I'm just dropping the breadcrumbs that truly are coming to me, and it ultimately is about saving souls, but people are not choosing to look at that right now. So I watched a video yesterday, and I'll reference her, Lori Ladd. And she gave this great visual, so I'm going to kind of use that because that's also the same visual that I was having. So it's no coincidence that a lot of these light workers we're all getting the same images in meditation, and then we sort of alchemize that into our understanding so that we can share. So the vision was that, we all know that there's sort of this great divide, and I think light workers, or those of us at least that are meditating, I don't care what you call us, that have a higher perspective, know that the great divide on a very big level is really about your soul, and it's about light and dark, and it's about good and evil. So the vision was that on one side there's like this 6-lane highway, and I think she used the reference of one of the freeways in California. So just imagine sort of like this 6-lane highway, and it's jam-packed. And then over here, which is I guess what we'll reference as the fifth dimension in the higher realms, is the alternative, and that's the back way. And most people choose this way because it's the way that they've always taken, and it is familiar, so they know that this route will get them where they believe that they're going. And many people have jumped off and kind of see that as this is really taking away your individual rights one by one. Again, this perspective, it's not from this perspective, it literally is from this perspective in the higher realms. It's taking away freedoms and choices one by one, and it's mimicking what I think most of us went through on an individual level when we tapped out of the matrix. Because when I tapped out, it was like, this is getting too restricting. All I want to do is this, and it was about taking care of me and what I loved, and it didn't hurt anybody. It was just, this is what I want to do. And that's not what the mainstream is. So that's not what this 4-lane highway is. So think of it in terms of, flavors of ice cream, because that came to me. It's like, yeah, but I want chocolate. Well, sorry, this is vanilla, and it's going to be vanilla, and it's going to be vanilla, and then it's going to be vanilla. In the terms, it's going to be what we say it's going to be, because it's in your best interest. And right now, the year 2020 is about the mirror. The 2020 is a mirror image of us looking at ourselves and trying to figure out what we want and who we are. And everybody's coming face to face with that one way or another. So if you don't come face to face with yourself, or until you do, we will continue to just keep what we always do, what we're told to do, what we're kind of herded to do, what somebody outside of us is telling us, meaning it's in the best interest. So I'm just going to go with the flow, and if they tell me to put on a mask and it's in my best interest, that's what I'm going to go. But 2020 is showing us that who's driving that is not in our best interest. We are learning that who's driving that in your best interest is the 1% elite satanic dark forces. Whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter, because it will eventually resonate with you. When you can feel your individuality being taken little by little by little, that's when it will resonate with you, because this lane over here is about our individuality, our individual soul, our recognition that I didn't come here to be like everybody else. I didn't come here to censor myself and cover my face and go with the flow without it recognizing, because it doesn't feel right to me. And so over here, we have the ability to see and feel from a very different perspective. So again, it's about choice. It's about choice. So in the in the example of the flavor, this is vanilla and it's always going to be. So you're going to have to like vanilla and just acclimate to vanilla. And many will, and it's not a judgment. It's okay, just like vanilla, because you're going to like it for a while. But you're not going to have the ability to have chocolate or anything else because it's not allowed over here. And you can look at that any way you want, but it's not allowed. So you're not allowed over here to not have a mask. You're not allowed over here to not have the vaccine, because if you don't, you're not going to be allowed to travel, and you're not going to be allowed to do this. So that's what we mean by, whoever's driving that vehicle is in charge of you now, as long as you choose that road. But the good thing is that the minute you say, yeah, but then you want to hop off that, even if you have to do it in little bits, it doesn't have to be I'm jumping all in. It can be well, let me try this out, let me see what happens, because is this what I want? What if I want chocolate down the road? What if I don't want to wear the mask for the next year and a half? Because they might tell you that, or that, as soon as it comes into your awareness that you're gonna have to have the vaccine, because the mask is the first key. And then the second part of the puzzle is you're going to have to prove that you don't have it, or that you've been vaccinated, or that it's not in your system, because that's what this is. It's just, it's staying in that lane and somebody else is driving it. So whatever the narrative is, it's whatever's being piped in and fed. So those of us have gone, I'm gonna look over here because there's different stores along the way and I can get my information. So it's not gonna be all the big box, stuff that's prepackaged for me. It's gonna be very different. It's a very different adventure over here. But I'd rather go with the unknown, and go on the adventure and have the faith that I strengthened along, the journey to that road, because at least I know what I don't want. And once we can see that, then it becomes a choice. It's a faith, some faith. It's a lot of faith going, okay, I'm not really sure what's in this lane, but I know what I don't want. I want this, and I'll start to create that. You got to have that vision of what you want, because we are in a creation state. I promise you, we're in a creation state. We always are, but now it's very, very obvious. So start imagining what you want, and then start moving towards that. And even if I don't know what it is, but it's not this. It's not being one of the masses. It's not being led to slaughter. And what I mean by that is it's not being led to, the next steps, which is ultimately, everything that we've always seen. It's a digitalized, tracking, monitoring. You have access, everything's going to be accessible through your face, and there's no free will and there's no individuality, not that timeline. But over here, it's absolutely, being created, and it has your individuality and your heart, and your intention in mind. So come contribute to the pot over here when you're ready. Otherwise, that's a choice too. No good or bad. That's a choice. Ride it out. Enjoy it. There's no if, ands, there's no right or wrong. There's just choices. And as long as you like your choices, then recognize that might be very limited on this path, meaning, you might not get chocolate. But again, that's just a perspective. So I'm sending love. I'm just sharing downloads, and this is not easy time, so it doesn't always come, wrapped in the package. But ultimately, I think the message is decide what you want, you as an individual, even if it's for you and your family, but decide what you want, and start asking the question, can I do that right now if that's what I want, and pick the path that resonates with you. Love you. See you soon.